Okay, this is a skill that, oh my goodness, even adults have a hard time doing. But because you've been practicing a WGU table, this should be pretty quick and easy for you. They're giving us a problem like right here to find 30% of 400. You can kind of see a WGU table here. WGU. And when we do a WGU with percents, total is what you would use as one of the words, and then percent is what you would use as the other one. Percent. I'm going to draw a percent sign. Okay, so 30% out of 100 would be how many out of 400? And then the way we solve these is cross multiply and divide. I'm going to move this problem over here where we have space. WGU, and our total is the 100%, and our percent was 30. So 30% is 30 out of 100. And then they're saying, what would it be if you have 400? Okay, cross multiply and divide. So that's 400 times 30. Hopefully you can do this in your head. It's 4 times 3 is 12. And then you have 1, 2, 3 zeros, so you should have 3 zeros after your 12. So that's 12,000. And then 12,000 divided by 100. All you have to do is back that the decimal back 2 times. 1, 2. I know it's 2 times because there's 2 zeros on 100. And that answer gives me 120. Okay, so some of you are saying, why can't you just say 100 times 4 is 400, so 30 times 4 is 120. Yeah, you can do that. That would be faster, but it's not going to work like that all the time. These are very friendly numbers, and sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't. But this is totally acceptable to do that too. Okay. Let's look at another problem. It says, write a proportion comparing the percent to the ratio of part to whole. Use proportional reasoning to find 28% of 25. Okay, so you guys, I taught you that of means multiply, and you can do the same thing, 28% of 25. 28% of 25. There's the bell. You guys are coming back from lunch. That means at 5th period, it's just going to have to wait outside a little bit. Okay, so if I set up a WGU table, they're going to start banging on the door here in a second. Words, that would be percent out of total. The given, this is right here, 28% out of 100. And our unknown, we don't know how many out of 25 that would be. 25 is our total. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. 28 times 25, 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Okay. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Add those together, 700. And then that equals 700. We're going to divide it by this number we haven't used yet. 700 divided by 100 is 7. Now what you could have done, another thing you could have done, is take 100 and turn it into 25 by dividing by 4. 100 divided by 4 is 25. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And then you also could have done this thing that, I'm giving you a lot of ways to solve this, but when I said of means multiply, you could have taken 28% times 25, which is 0.28 times 25. Okay, when we did that a while ago, we got 700. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through it. Okay, that's what you get when you multiply it. And then remember the rule where you see how many decimal numbers you have in the problem? This problem has 2 decimals. So, decimal numbers. So I'm going to move my decimal over twice. I need to make sure I have 2 in my answer, and that gives me 7.0. So I gave you a lot of options here for solving this. I hope it wasn't too many options. I think that the WGU table is the way to go because you end up doing that in some form or another anyway. WGU will work every single time. On B, this is multiply by a fraction to find 35% of 60. Remember that of means what? Times. So you could do this. This is just another option, another way to find it. 35% means 35 out of 100 times 60. Remember that when you multiply a fraction times a whole number, I'm going to use a multiplication now in this one. You just stick a 1 in the denominator. Okay, and then we also practiced simplifying before you multiply. So if I have a 60 in the numerator and a 100 in the denominator, both those numbers are divisible by 2. We could simplify them by 2, by 10, by 4. I'm going to simplify them by 20. So 20 goes into 60 3 times, and 20 goes into 100 5 times. I would much rather multiply 35 times 3 than 35 times 60. Okay, 35 times 3 is 105. Ooh, you know what? Yes. I was looking at this, and I think what I'm going to do is, no, it won't let me erase it anymore. Let me rewrite it down here. I am going to do this little tidbit right here. 35 and 5 can simplify by 5. 5 goes into 5 once. 35. 5 goes into 35 7 times. There. Even better. Now I'm just going to multiply my numerators and my denominators. 7 times 3 is 21. And 1 times 1 is 1. And any number with a 1 in the denominator simplifies to just that number. So that's going to be 21. Yay, I got it. All right, C says to multiply, yikes. I don't know what I'm doing again. Okay, C says multiply by a decimal to find 5% of 180. So 5% of 180 means that we're going to take 5% times 180. And they're wanting us to multiply it using, or find it using multiplication with a decimal. So I'm going to use my Dr. Pepper method to change that percent right here, that 5%. I'm going to change it to a decimal. Remember, if you don't see a decimal, where do you place it? You just put it at the end. So I'm going to put it there, and then I move it Starts out as a percent. Okay, and I'm wanting to change it to a decimal. So I'm going to move the decimal that direction. Okay, decimal to percent to a decimal. So how many times do you move it? Twice. 1, 2. Now it's over here, and I have this big gap, so I'm going to put a 0 there. So that's going to be 5/100 times 180. It's a good thing we already practiced multiplying. That's pretty. Multiplying decimals, because now it's really easy. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry my 4. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 4 is 9. Then I have my placeholder here. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 8, 0. 0 times 1, 0. Add those together. Okay, and then I have two decimal numbers in my problem. I don't have any here, and I have 2 here. So altogether, that's 2. I need 2 in my answer. Okay, that's 9 like that. That's 9 like that. That's 9 like that. Okay, so 5% of 180 is 9. Okay, the end.